reality case of novel power of computers, the role of social media algorithms have played in spreading all kinds of psychological characteristics, hatred, compassion, animosity, whatever we want to play, we can play through the lens of mass media, and people will not realize that they are getting drawn towards this. And computers very easily recognize your pattern. Whether you like this, they will give you such type of you know stimulus or such type of prompts. But if you don't like, then they will give you something else. So social media algorithms are fundamentally different from printing presses and radio sets in Nazi's Germany. What Hitler's that propaganda used to be the tool of controlling the mass behavior of the people. But that is some medium becoming the message. But somewhere there is no medium, but you are not realizing, and you are getting changed about its operation. So its operations may be invisible in nature. So algorithms may active and faithful decisions by themselves, may recommend whatever we want to feed into it, and it will start turning into that. So as user engagement increases, our social media activities collects more data and sells more advertisement. User engagement increase more by hate-filled conspiracy than by sermon on compassion, because social media says that people like controversies, so feed it with controversies, real 2 minutes reel, somebody is fighting, somebody is talking absurd things, so that will go more uh, become more sellable or more advertisement friendly. So by trial and algorithms learn that what type of content, see, media research, behavioral research people say what type of content you know is that hatred creates engagement. It is based on sometimes you can see that so many. So this is a stage where we are entering a stage of hacking the operation system of human civilization. So sometimes I'm sitting here, and if you want to create unrest, then with the use of algorithms, you can hack the system of banking, you can hack the system of you know m- banking. There will be a economic loss. But if there is a social unrest that you create, that they are people of bad origin, and you spread some rumor mongering machine, and it becomes the major news. And at the end of the day, you realize it was all farce. But it has already resulted and done the significant harm of social cohesiveness and other things. And moment you start checking, that news becomes viral, and you don't have any control over it. How many people you will control? It can transcend the boundaries of geography, topography. How will you control them? So these are the things that you ought to think. So data links of computers may generate false storage and post it on a social media feed. A computer may identify the false news and warn others computer to block it. Another computer may deduce that this indicates a beginning of a political crisis, crisis, and sell risky stocks. You can see that there are news plants that was not has happened, and they destabilize huge financial empires. Oh, because of something wrong being planted against them. So other computers, monitoring financial transactions may react by selling more stocks, triggering a financial panic. All this could happen within seconds. Within seconds, before any human can notice and decipher what all these computers are doing. See how this whole gamut of behavior, and micro behavior, social behavior, our life, worlds, all are getting influenced and impressed by it, and we don't realize. We should try to understand the difference between computers and all previous technology, that computers are full-fledged members of information network. They don't need us. They can survive on their own networks. Computers can connect in unlimited numbers, and they understand financial and legal and social realities better than many humans. This is a challenge. Which psychology, mainstream psychology, doing counseling? What counseling will? Why somebody will come? You will ask them after 5 days, he will or she will buy one AI program, they will give him better result. Why somebody will come? You will, apply some particular, textbook theories, and they will not relate to their day-to-day realities. So they will see, oh, he is not. So I'm telling you, this is a very challenging stage where psychologists should be very, very, intelligently applying the use of information, the use of technology, and their human understanding in such a way that they do not become anti-technology and they adapt to it. And then they come out. So you have to be, psychotechnology, what it is called, you know, that you have to understand the meaning of psychotechnology, how technology can be to our aid. So you have to understand, and you can, computers can, give us more accurate decisions about, Siddhant Sekhar or Subham Dhakar or anybody else. They can give me even your parents may not, because they are recognized in all kinds of forensics all over the world. Police people, they use this, drones. You cannot safeguard our borders. You can see its application, it's happening, and they can be there, and they can, notice even the minor disturbances. They can do so. So computers are bureaucratic natives and can draft laws, monitor legal violations, and you can see that data demonstrated a remarkable ability to analyze is very ordinary. But important point that psychologists should understand, that it can manipulate and generate language, whether with words, sounds, images, or codes. That is the ability of the artificial intelligence. Computers can tell the stories, and it can circulate to wide number of people, which may not be true. So even, write books, uh, you know, fashion images, compose music. So what not it can do? We have to understand, by gaining command of language, computers are seizing the master key. Computers are seizing the master key, unlocking the doors of all our institutions from banks to temples. सब जगह पहुंच जाता है, ठीक है? So they can recognize what is happening where. What would it mean for humans to live in a world where, catchy melodies, scientific theories, political manifestos, even religious myths are shaped by a non-human alien? This is the stage that we are reaching. And intelligence which is well adapted to exploit human capabilities, dependencies, and weaknesses. So if you, talk to some imaginary social media platform with somebody, and you will have similar kind of emotional expression also you can experience while, talking to an AI generated, person. So what I'm democratic forms of government relies on norms and conventions used by language. By hacking language, computers can distort numbers of people to engage in meaningful or non-meaningful conversations. Bots can identify our tendencies and sway our arguments. So customers are gods, voters are always right. No, their thinking, their understanding, their behavior, all can be influenced if you, use the knowledge of computers in a meaningful way. Though, if at all, for this only precondition that he or she should be a user of social media. That is the point. So digital entities have enormous implications for self, social, political, and financial life. The principle that, the concept that technological giants can redirect people's emotional systems and mold the wishes of every kind of people they wish to. Why we are, all encouraged to buy certain kind of products, why we are all encouraged to behave in a circle. Even our celebration, if you don't celebrate my birthday, Valentine's Day, Halloween, so we feel, a sense of insufficiency in us, because there has been commodification of culture through the lens of mass media. So people interact online through various platforms like Google and parent company TikTok, ByteDance, harvest personal information and target them through all kinds of things that they wish to. A person or corporation with little money in the bank, but a huge data bank of information could be the wealthiest or most powerful entity in a given social economic setup. You understand? So I have the information. So I can give you what type of people they are. And if you come on television set and say that I know the mood of the nation, no, you cannot. Computers can also give us a good understanding of the mood of the nation, because they are not talking just for the sake of talking. They have data. They have understanding of your behavior, micro, how do you engage? What are your preferences? What are your likes? So they give you, so you can see these principles of modeling were very much used during COVID time, that how this problem is unfolding and how it can be, if what is the percentage of people they may suffer from this COVID problem. So you can see there was a lot of, and the people who became very famous there in that time were the people who were using technology, not the people who are reading psychology or teaching psychology. I'm not criticizing my own discipline, but I'm trying to self introspect that you have to be very mindful of the broader social, technological reality. Data is needed for for positive purposes and for negative purposes. So computers can analyze the information and make sense of the data better than what we can do. Algorithms far surpass humans in their ability to spot patterns in the ocean of data. Where is it? You can see then whenever there's some wrong thing happening, they start, searching to the vast amount of data. And suppose someone is continuously watching particular type of material, can reflect his or her thinking. So crime scenes, then they have to see what is his trace on social media, what type of activity he was doing, what type of things he or she was watching. It can give us an indication. It can also help, official to discern the data for health, illness, or any type of requirement. So the digital bureaucrats function 24/7 and can monitor us and interact with us anywhere, anytime. This ultimately indicates, what does it indicate? That digital surveillance works constantly and each action leaves a trace of data which can help us gather and analyze the pattern. So what I am trying to tell you is not, is something that we should try to ignore. But because AI-based surveillance are relentlessly being used for monitoring all our activities, including classrooms to borders to places of worship and this apartments and the societies where we stay. AI algorithms regularly watch us in our rooms, bedrooms via our smartphones, our online activities like messaging to friends, reading books, booking taxis, can form a database to identify activities, psychological proclivities, and suspicious patterns, or even any kind of dissident behavior that we may engage in. It can give us an example. So facial recognition algorithms, AI searchable databases are routinely used by all kinds of security forces all over the world. Oh, so you can see that challenges to even democratic forms of government, when if you are not alert, every time a powerful new technology emerge, as anxieties also emerge, and then how we adapt. So all of a sudden you cannot adapt to some system. Industrial revolution brought dark sides, but many people enjoy far better living conditions than their ancestors in 18th century. New technology even leads to historical disaster because it takes time for the people to adapt to it. Despite the limitations, liberal democracy is considered a better way, but can they be empowered in the digital control era? Public opinion can be easily manipulated with the relentless use of computer network. McLuhan, Habermas, Bloomer principle of benevolence is compromised through, though tacitly. We tell everything to our doctor in order to get better cure. But in this, if this information is shared with others, it is illegal and unethical. It is same with the use of powerful algorithms. They intrude into our privacy information and do not have control whether this information will be used for all private purposes that it was secured, that it was gathered from us. So even democratic institutions and regimes, they all and citizens welfare schemes, all kinds of activities, they are all in the surveillance society. People are being intruded through AI and robotics, and will change numerous professions from harvesting crops to trading stocks to teaching meditation classes. You can see so many, person who have learned yoga may commit some error, but if it is being recited through the use of machine, it will enact perfectly because there will be no space for human error. So some of the sought after skills cherished for years may be automated rather easily. So there is, and again, behavioral doctors gather data, provide diagnosis, and AI can help it in pattern recognition. Uh, Future of jobs in 2050 cannot be predicted well. I don't know, but our ability to identify, you know, uh, correct emotions can be judged more accurately by machines. Tone of the voice, facial expressions. From a psychological perspective, adding to consumerism, conspicuous consumerism, what we are doing, why we are doing, the economist Veblen talks about it. Bourdieu's concept of cultural capital attainment of skills. Kant, Karl Popper said that scientific theories of claims about the world might later be discovered to be false. So whatever scientific theories they claim, they cannot necessarily be. So falsification theory is also an important premise of the scientific theory. Disciplinary institutions, panopticon structure, and all such type of so ecosystem is developing, where you have to understand that psychological research in the area of behavioral research, mental health. Again, I am telling you, my dear students, whoever have joined, even if it is five, it does not matter to me. What is important that you become the change agents. You should try to understand that mental health is not an isolated phenomenon. It is a product of the mental health of a person who is a resident of Delhi, and mental health of a person who is a resident of Ukraine cannot be the same. And this DSM model of, I am not saying that it is all wrong, but you have to understand the genesis of it. And you have to understand the genesis, that shift from economy of goods to economy of science, SIGNS, science and spaces, as that Baudrillard claims that information technology, mass media, and cybernetics have affected transition from an era of industrial production to an era of simulation, in which models, science, and codes determine new social order. हमको ये पहनना है, आपको ऐसे बिहेव करना, आपको, it is deciding and determining the social codes. The culture of post modernity is characterized by consumerism, commodification, the simulation of knowledge and experience, the blurring of distinctions between representation and reality. This is another major dimension. The fragmentation of experience. This is an area of risk behavioral and personality identity, and emergence of disordering and disorienting. This is hyperspace. I need this then and there. 24/7, hyper food, fast food, fast fashion, everything within a no time. So there are, things that you have to you understand, that dominant culture is eating other, you know, less dominant cultures. This is what was. I will just take 2 minutes, 3 minutes. So, eating by bell hooks, which is a famous feminist. Commodification of love. This is also that you give me branded gift, then only it is sustained. Otherwise, it does not. Spatio-temporal separation, obscuring origins and relations. So something relevant from this place, it is becoming relevant to other place, and people are not able to identify or relate with that. So the capacity of a commodity to be separated physically, morally from the seller. So something we produce, but we don't relate with this. Sacredness, territorial rights rarely or poorly translate into prices such as forests. So forest is a very natural thing, but it will not translate into commodity. So many, Harvey declares that there is something inherently anti-ecological about capitalistic commodification. Domino effect, one set of conditions, also relate to other set of conditions. So in order to understand, you have to understand the sociology, the breaking of the norms, the breaking of the enemy situation described by Durkheim, Merton. You can understand that these are the concepts that you need to relate it. So it is not that individual is just in every individual mental health, and you apply some questionnaire and then you give that it is self-esteem scale and the well-being scale low and high. It is completely myopic. You have to take into the account the subjective, objective aspects, and subjective aspect, the social aspect, the cultural aspect. So you give a sample of 50 students and you come out with it. Who will listen to you? Nobody will listen to you. You are also always working towards a paradoxical, paradigm. So you have to understand that in order to be relevant, you have to have a very creditable system where you can change, you can understand the behavioral dynamics, then only you can suggest the solution. So behavioral mental, I am telling you, mental is not isolated mental, it is nested mental. You can relate some theory of psychology, I think Broff and Brenner's theory you can relate to some extent. But again, what are the manifest aspects and what are the tacit aspects? Somebody who is, coming with a set of trauma or set of, poverty cannot be equated with the person who is coming with a set of an affluence background. So you have to understand that each things cannot be comparable. So evolution changes in heritable characteristics and other things. Mass culture, technology-based relationships is producing mass culture. Masses are connected through universal culture, ideas, and goods instead of unique folk histories. Fast food, fast music, fast fashion, high culture experienced by elite, and pop culture, common for all. Lewis Worth urbanism, substitution of secondary for the primary contexts. Weakening bonds of kinship, declining family. This is an area of research, that how it is affecting our family life. And disappearance of neighborhood, that we have, in cities like Delhi, you have so many people, but we don't know. So the concept of anonymity, being being alone together. You understand? So I go into metro, I meet so many people, I see so many people, but I cannot talk to them. If I talk to them, it is not, suggested to do so. So that kind of anonymity. So that is also urban anonymity. So these are all, is creating towards a risk society, which is talked by the thinker called Ulrich Beck. Risk society. So manufacturing of risk and distributing. And you are thinking, what is my problem? I could not qualify in my GATE net exam. Is there something? No, there is no problem in you. Don't underestimate yourself. Think about yourself that there are only limited number of seats, only limited number of students will come. Maybe your strategy was slightly less, successful than the others. So don't, try to underestimate. They will try to, define deficiencies in you. This model of technology that you should, ready-made. No, if educated people are important, then those people who are less educated are equally important. Their conditions are entirely different. So everybody did not go to, Western countries to become an intellectual par excellence. No, it is not. Who said this? So if you don't speak English, does not mean that you are not, a very good person. So, manufacturing the consent of the people accord with the technological advancement is also an important part. So, familiarity with the legitimate body use concept of cultural capital, advantage of skills, knowledge, education, and all kinds of things. So I have talked enough about that. You have to understand, and you have to be very careful that you don't get wrong that what is being shown by, the people who are doing psychology. They have, all the books that is very much, unrelated to the this reality of the day, and treating it from a singularity of perspective, independent dependent variables, that is not going to solve the problem. So you have to treat it that how technology and how it operates, who are its owner, what are the manifest aspects, what are the dimensions that is playing its role. Are people behaving as they are behaving? It is all because they are on understanding, or are they being mediated through the lens of, some mediated mechanisms. So everything we need to be more cautious about it, and what becomes, prominent overnight, and what becomes redundant overnight, how, image destruction takes place, and how image construction takes place. It can all be mediated without any knowledge of the how it is operating. So there is an invisible panopticon that we are all living with, and we have to be mindful that we have to treat psychology as a broader perspective, so that we can relate it, not only that I am presenting my paper in this seminar, that I am very happy to announce that my paper was awarded, but how it is relating and translating to the lives of the people. That is what is the biggest challenge which psychologists of today should focus upon. Thank you, Mr. Subham Dhakar, and thank you, Siddhant. Thank you, Kanhaiya Kumar Misra, and all others who joined with me. And I wish you all the best, that you do well in psychology and in society in general. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. The session was very enlightening. The way you started from evolution of technology to current trends was cherish-worthy, and I don't have words that how much I have learned from this lecture. So, if somebody from the participants have to ask any question, you can turn on your mic, or else you can comment down below.
पूछने ही दो. Let them ask only.
Yeah,
टाइप
you
वाइप
can
मत
ask.
करो. Kanhaiya Kumar Misra, you ask. Yeah.
Okay, sir. Sir, as you mentioned that controversies are more advertisement friendly. So, and the advertisement industry is increasing day by day, as well as the controversies are also increasing. So, what is can be the way forward, or what your take by which we as a psychology student or psychologist can contribute to decrease this effect, or yes.
No, mitigating the effect at a large, because there is always a, paradoxical relationship that goes between the popular culture and the authentic. So whenever there is authenticity and popularity, popular will always have the majority. So you have to be very cautious, and at least at individual level, if you understand that why something is happening. Suppose, somebody is in a trap of, buying paradox, that I should buy more and more and more and more. I should have house in this locality, I should have this kind of car. This is majorly an impact of advertisement. So it is very difficult to, overcome these kind of things. But at least you can, because they should not suffer from this complex that there is some deficiency in me. So sometimes, deficiencies are, definition is also distorted, that those who do not possess good English speaking skill, they are not very, high elite people. So, so similarly, you can see that, propaganda and advertisement and all these things, they do play a role, but as a psychologist, it is our duty to enlighten people that okay, it is there, but you have to understand what your priorities are. And if you are happy, deriving happiness from what you do, there is no need to bother much about that. If I have not visited some place, or I do not have a house in a metropolitan city, that does not mean that I am less happy than what others may be. So this kind of awareness and mindfulness is very much required. Yeah.
Yeah, so thank you so much, sir. Uh, if anybody else has to ask something, you can open your mic and ask the question. Okay, so I think that nobody has to ask.
You can
So,
ask
and
anybody who wants. You can,
yeah,
Bandit.
one day, go ahead.
Bandit, you can ask.
Yeah,
If you ask more
hello,
questions, I'll
sir.
be very
Am I
happy.
audible?
Yeah, audible. Go ahead.
Yeah, sir. I just wanted to gain some insight on like AI is very much uh, like it's growing exponentially, right? So it's kind of unsupervised in this domain, especially in psychology domain. So, sir, like how do we ensure that this unsupervised AI growth does not harm the field of psychology or the like the clients who seek counseling or psychological help, because there is a lot of misinformation also regarding this. So sir, I just wanted to gain some insights on you from you.
No, AI related information and AI related those who are using it in a very meaningful way, they can certainly as I mentioned you. But what is the subjective experience that you understand, or what is your gut feelings that you suggest you as a psychologist? So there will be hand in hand, so complementing to each other. So technology and psychology, if you do away with this, there may be you are doing very magical behavior. And in order to be not very scientific, but in order to be effective, you have to take the help of the technology also. And AI will be surpassing. It has already been surpassing. And you see uh, the persons who are involved in counseling activities, the tech giants have entered it into a big way. So they are not psychologists, but they are doing the best in the field. So you have to be very mindful about this fact that what we can do as humans. So you have to supplement this technological information and become complementary to each other. And in the times to come, as I told you, it is going to be a difficult period where AI related and things, it is becoming very, so many people are worried about it, that how to cope with this kind of situation. So I do not have any ready made solution that I can suggest to you, but yes, it is posing a challenging situation for all of us. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Anybody else, last question, or you may conclude also.
I think, sir, nobody has to ask some question. So, as we approach to the end of the session, again, sir, I want to thank you very much for having us, uh, giving an opportunity to us to learn this much. And I also want to thank you all the participants for joining in. If you want to have more this kind types of sessions, so please follow PsyConnect on LinkedIn, WhatsApp, and YouTube. Stay connected with us. Thank you so much for joining. You may leave now. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Subham, Siddhant, thanks all of you.
Welcome, sir. Thank you.